Welcome children. Take out your English literature book. Longman Impression, Revised Edition, Part 6. Chapter 17, The Lost Child. Before explaining this chapter, let me tell you that in my previous video, I have already explained about a little boy who had got lost in the village fair. Now, let's begin the rest part of the chapter. At a little distance, on the green grass, he could see through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. Now, at a very far away distance, where it was on the green grass, and the little boy, what he could see through his eyes that some men and women, they were talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow cloth, and now what he tried to do? He tried to look intently among these patches of this bright yellow colored cloth, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people. But he couldn't see his father and mother among these people who seemed to laugh and talk. Just for the sake of laughing and talking, he ran quickly again. Now, as he has seen that these people were laughing and talking, so what he did? He ran again. He quickly ran again. This time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowded. Now, this time where he ran? He ran to the shrine where people were looking. People, what they were looking? They were looking as they are crowded in that place. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through the people's legs. He little saw lingering. Now, every little place, that means every little empty space where people were filled with men, where the place were filled with men, and he ran among these people, and what happened? He was sobbing, he was crying. Father, mother, what he was calling out? While crying, he was calling out his parents. Near the entrance to the temple, however the crowd became very faint, and near the entrance, near the temple, that is, whatever he could see, he could see that the crowd, they have becoming very thick. That means many people were there. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. He could see different types of men. That means some men, they were quite heavy men. Heavy men refers to fat men. They were flashing, they had different types of eyes, hefty shoulders, broad shoulders. The poor little child struggled to thrust away between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements. Now, this child, what he did? He struggled from this part to that part, so away, and his feet were knocking here and there by this brutal movement. He might have been trampled at a foot. Now, what could happen? It could happen that his foot would get trampled had he not strived at the high patches of his butt. Now, it didn't happen that he didn't get struck at these high patches of it, because it was a crowded place and there were loud noises from everyone. Father, mother, and what he was crying? He was calling out to his parents. A man in the shrugging crowd heard his cries and stopped with great difficulty. Now, in this crowd, a man heard his voice and then he stopped with great difficulty, lifted up his arms. Now, what he did? That man, he lifted up the child in his arms. How did you get here, child? Now, that man, he asked the child that how he came here. Whose baby are you? Now, that man even started asking questions to that boy. That whose baby are you? Means who is your parents? And the man asked as he steered clear of the masses. Now, man was started asking questions. Now, what he did? He cleared the place, a crowded place. The child wept more bitterly and ever now, and only now the child, he started crying more and more, and ever crying, I want my mother, I want my mother, I want my father. What he started saying? That he wanted his mother and he wanted his father. The man tried to shoot him by taking him to the roundabout. Now the man tried to stop his crying, and so he took that child to a roundabout. Roundabout, what is this roundabout? It is you can tell it's a type of swing where people enjoy themselves. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. Now what happened? That man asked the child, as the child was crying too much, he asked the child that, do you want to have a ride on the horse? He asked the little boy, and now he went to the man, took the child near a ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shell shocked, and he only shouted, I want my mother, I want my father. But the child told, what happened? It was making a shrilling noise. He was just sobbing. That means he was crying. And he only shouted, I wanted my father, I want my mother, and I want my father. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played. Now the man, what he did? He went near the place where the snake charmer means a person who plays with a snake, who shows different types of plays with the help of snake. Still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Now what he was doing? He was still playing on his flute to this swaying cobra. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. Now he pleaded that you listen, so good music. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted in his double pistol, I want my mother, I want my father. But the child, he didn't listen to anything. He just shut his ears and he started crying. He started crying in his loud pitched voice, I want my father, I want my mother. The man took near the balloons, thinking that the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Now the man, what he did? He took the child near the balloon. He thought, because the man, he thought that the bright colored balloon will distract the child's attention and the child will become quiet. Would you like a rainbow colored balloon? And asked the man and asked the child that, do you want to have some rainbow colored balloon? What does this rainbow colored balloon mean? This rainbow color balloon means that different color. That means rainbow has 7 colors. So different colors balloon do you want? He persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloon. Now the child, he didn't listen to anything. He just turned his eyes from this flying colors balloon and just started crying. He and cried in a shrill voice, saying that I want my mother, I want my father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Now the man, what he was doing? He tried to make the child happy. Now he took him to the gate where the flower seller was sitting. Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like to have a garland to put round your neck? Now, can you smell? Now the man asked the child that, can you smell this nice flowers, child? He asked different types of questions because he wanted the child to stop his crying. But the child, so he asked different types of, first he asked that, do you want to smell this nice flower? Would you like to have one garland you want to put on your neck? The child turned his nose away from the basket and retired his jaw. I want my father, I want mother. Now the child, what happened? He turned his nose away from the basket and started sobbing. Again he started saying, I want my father, I want my mother. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took to the counter of the sweet shop. Now thinking of this humor, what happened? He disconsolate their charge and the gift of the sweet. Now the man, where he took him? He took him to the counter of this sweet shop. What sweet would you like, child? Now he asked that, what type of sweet would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face. Now the child, what he did? He turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed. And only what he did? He just cried and cried. I want my mother. I want my mother. Father. What he said? He just wants his father, and what he wants is, what he wants, that is, he wants his father. Now, in this, what is the main theme of the poem? It's theme of the story. The main theme of the story is that a child is only fond of their affection. That is, who is the affection? That is their parents. Now, take out your diary, write chapter 17, the lost doll, lost child, 2 pages explain, homework, revising. And with this, I am ending my today's class. Goodbye.